Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Ruby and welcome. So this past month I did not post any video, and it's not because I was lazy. I've just had a lot going on, but besides that, like with school and like music and languages, I've just been dealing with so much. Like it's been really heavy and I just needed this time to rest and really realign myself. So yeah, but I am feeling better. I'm doing my best to work on myself. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about what I've been doing to work on myself, to stay aligned and keep on moving forward. And I will also share with you guys my language progress with last month, what I did and progress I made and all that stuff. So this video is going to be both mindset, the first part of it, and then the second part of it is going to be my language progress, what I did last month. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. So part of the mindset stuff I'm doing to work on myself is just exercising. I started exercising, but then I accidentally hurt myself, and because I went to the gym with my brother and I hurt myself at the gym, and I've kind of been a little traumatized to go back. It wasn't anything serious, thankfully, but I've just been a little traumatized to the point where I'm like, I don't really feel ready to go to the gym. So I've just been working out at home, doing mostly yoga and walking on campus because I walk a lot on campus. And yeah, just doing little things that help me stay active physically. I don't do it daily. I do it every other day, just work out. And it's been helpful because I know I have this tendency, because I'm so very, I guess, intellect focused on trying to attain like my language goals, my music goals, achieving good grades and these boring general ed classes I have to do. I at times have the tendency to neglect my physical health. So now it's something that I'm doing my best to prioritize at least 2 to 4 times a week, just doing like half an hour of yoga and just like walking and all that. And I feel that's really been helping, and I'm just doing my best to keep the momentum going with that. And yeah, another thing I do is just watch videos that are uplifting and inspiring. I really like watching things like from positive world leaders or people who are just inspiring, or things related to the mind that are backed up by science. That just helps inspire me and remind me of the power that I have within myself to really like create the reality I desire for myself, but also like be able to maintain peace within myself even when the world around me may be in chaos, you know what I mean? Because that's how my first month of the year sort of felt, just chaotic. And I'm really just learning to stay still and like remain peaceful even when things outside tend to fall apart. So I think it's also good. That's the good thing about like when bad things or challenging things come up, is that it really does teach you to remain patient. Like it gives you the opportunity to learn, to teach yourself how to remain patient even when shit is hitting the fan. So also just learning to remain detached, because I know a lot of times in the past I've always been attached to like certain things and people, certain outcomes, and like it's something that I've talked about, that when you remain attached to things, like you're really attaching like your happiness and self-worth to these things, to the point that if one day you were to lose this thing, you also lose yourself in the process. And so I'm learning to remain detached to particular outcomes and people, and just remain in this thing I like to call neutral Jing. My brother and I refer to it as neutral Jing. If you guys ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, you know what I'm talking about. Neutral Jing, just remaining centered and not like being tied to any particular outcome or thing. And I feel that with certain things I've certainly have become better at it, but of course there are other things where I still tend to get a little attached, and I'm like, no, like, you know, like I know there's like this whole conversation out there about like whether to remain attached or detached. Personally, I'm someone who just likes remaining detached, because that way I remain in power, you know what I mean? Because if I'm attached to something, I feel like I'm just giving my power away. So yeah, learning to stay detached. And I feel part of what helps me do that is definitely like yoga, doing my best to meditate, and just being more mindful, listening to things and reading things that help uplift me and all that good jazz. So that's what I've sort of been doing to help myself feel better and get myself up. And also just talking about things with the people I trust when things have been very heavy, because I have to admit there has been a lot of things, but this is something I'm actually willing to share, is that recently I have been feeling a lot of pressure that I have to get all my classes done to graduate on time, because technically I was supposed to graduate this spring, but I kind of unintentionally fucked up the date like my timeline. So now I'm supposed to graduate until next spring, but I still have quite a few things to get done, and I was just overwhelming myself and placing all this pressure of like, okay, you need to get this done, you have to do this, you have to pass all your classes. If you fail, like you're gonna have to wait until the following year, and then you're gonna like throw yourself off again. Like all these like overwhelming thoughts were just coming to me, and I was just feeling very anxious, just in a constant state of anxiety and just losing my power. And I feel that I was finally able to release so much of that anxiety when I just started talking about it with people, because it's scary, you know, like for me personally, because I know like there's this idea of a particular timeline that by the time you're this age, you're supposed to be done with school. Then be married at this age, have a family at this age, have a house by this age. Like, you know, all these ridiculous timeline ideas. And I know logically that's all bullshit and we do not have to follow any particular timeline. But it's something that I feel that I haven't completely internalized, because if I did, I wouldn't be panicking the way I have been panicking. And of course now I feel so much better and at ease because I talked about it with my family and they've been very supportive, just telling me, you know what, like we know you're doing your best. The very fact that you drive out to your university, which is far, and with traffic, just shows how like dedicated and how serious you are about actually succeeding and getting this thing done. And you know what, if you don't graduate on time, that's fine. Do your best. That's all we ever want from you, is just to do your best. And it was just nice to have that type of support, you know? And if you don't have that type of support, I want you to know that you have that support from me, because I can totally relate to that feeling of wanting to like get things done. And that's why it's so hard, you know, because a lot of times we're conditioned to just rush through life, get particular results. And we can see that also in the language learning community, how a lot of times people are very wanting, determined to want to get into like an advanced level in 3 months. And, you know, it's why like some people do it, but I think it sends out the wrong message. It shouldn't be about arriving to a particular destination. It's really about enjoying the journey, because at the end of our lives, we're not going to be thinking about, oh, how fast did I accomplish this? No, we're going to be thinking about whether or not we actually enjoyed the ride. Did we actually live a good life? You know what I mean? And when I talk to you, I'm also talking to myself, because I know this is something I have to hear, because I tend to fall into that trap of, oh, okay, I have to get things done fast. And it's like, no, and we got to stop spreading that message. So I hope you guys are inspired by that here, because I can totally relate to that pressure of having to get things done at a particular time. But honestly, a lot of the times that pressure comes from ourselves. And of course, I know there are people out there that also get that pressure from their family members, but I want you to know that there is no timeline. It's an illusion, and all we can ever really do is just do our best. And if you're doing your best, that's more than enough. All right, so I talked so much, you guys. I hope you guys appreciate that first part of the mindset video. But now I'm going to talk to you guys about my languages for January. So if you guys know, I had set the goal that I was going to focus mainly on French and then German this year. And I said I wasn't gonna dabble, but I lied, because I've been dabbling a little bit on Russian and Japanese. It's just so hard because I keep on meeting people who speak Russian. I'm just like, is the universe trying to tell me to learn Russian? Anyways, I love these languages. They're like my children, and I wish I could like juggle more, but it's just too much, you know? Like, I don't study Japanese and Russian every day. I basically just dabble on them whenever I can, which for me is fun because I love dabbling on these languages. They're languages that at some point I would like to learn to at least an intermediate level, even if it's just the B1 level or whatever. But honestly, like, it's fun. I enjoy it. I am doing my best to, of course, focus on French and German because I do want to prove to myself, especially with French, that I can actually get to an advanced level. But of course, no rush. I'm doing my best to just take my time and just remind myself, like, bitch, just take your time. You don't have to rush. You don't have to get to level C1 by the end of the year. Like, no. I just want to have fun, but I also want to, like, prove to myself that I can do it. But anyways, what did I do last month? Of course, mainly focused on French and German. Fortunately, with French, I made a new French friend, and we did an exchange like once or twice every week where she would work on her English for half an hour and then I would do French half an hour. And it was super cool. I feel like I made progress with my speaking skills and that I learned new vocabulary, acquired new vocabulary, and I've just been reading and underlining words that I'm not familiar with and looking them up online and writing them within the context of a sentence that I will be able to remember, so I can actually like remember what the word means and all that stuff. And I feel that my comprehension skills have definitely been improving. I've been listening to like a French podcast that is specifically about things with regards to philosophy and sociology. I'm just doing my best to expand my current level of French by immersing myself into other topics that I'm not very familiar with. French was good. I feel that I made a lot of progress with French in January. German, I feel like I've been neglecting the grammar a little bit just because grammar, I don't know. I have like a love-hate relationship with the grammar right now in German, but I have been reviewing it a little bit and also just reading and trying to grasp grasp the grammar within the context of stories. So that's been really helpful. And I've been focused a lot on vocabulary because I do understand a lot of the grammar, but I feel like I definitely need more vocabulary. Like I can converse and all that stuff, but you know, sometimes when I hear things, just if I hear one word that I don't know, I feel like sometimes that just throws me off completely with German. I don't know why, but I have been focused on learning new words, and I feel that I've learned quite a bit this past month, so I'm really happy about that. And the first few times I had scheduled a lesson to speak in German with someone on italki, but I canceled it because I was like, no, I'm not ready, I don't feel confident. But finally I took one lesson last month where I spoke in German for half an hour, and I actually surprised myself because I didn't really think it would go well, but it actually went better than I expected. So give yourself the opportunity to try. That's what I learned from that. Even if you fail, just give yourself the opportunity to try, because the worst that can happen is the worst is that you don't do as good as you would have wanted to, but at least you're learning, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, German. Also, I feel like my comprehension skills have been improving. I listen a lot to what is it called? Easy German on the podcast while I'm driving to university. So that's been helping a lot. And just listening to other things in German, and it's been cool. Now with Russian, I've mostly been reviewing things that I have already learned because I did go like maybe like 2 weeks or a week where I didn't review any Russian, and with that short time I feel like I just forgot everything. So these past like 1 or 2 weeks I've been like reviewing, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. And you know, I can speak a little bit of Russian, and sometimes I'll like practice speaking with a friend, and it's really cool. I haven't really like gotten into the grammar because honestly I'm not sure if I'm ready to learn another grammar structure that has cases involved. Like maybe at some point, but I don't think I'm ready for that right now. So I'm mostly just learning like phrases and verbs and new words and doing my best to construct sentences, even if I sound illiterate. Oh well. Now Japanese, I've just started reviewing everything from Genki 1 book again, just reviewing like one chapter every 3-5 days, just a whole chapter. And it's cool because honestly, because I studied Japanese and I went through the Genki book and those chapters so many times, it's so easy for me to remember and just like get it again. So it's been cool. I'm happy that a lot of my Japanese is still in there, but I really want to do my best to internalize the later chapters that maybe I didn't study as much as the first half of the book. So I'm going to be doing that, just taking my time, because even though I wish I could focus on all these languages, I have a lot of shit to do, you know? And I have my music, which is a big priority for me. And I've also been working on just like my acting skills because I really want to be a better performer when it comes to singing. I'm really pushing myself. This is why I'm mainly focused on just French and German, because most of my focus is going into music, my big priority. And yeah, I feel like this video is a little bit all over the place, but you guys, we haven't talked in over a month, so I hope you guys found some value in this video. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who continue to support me even when I haven't been posting, because I know some people have unsubscribed, and I know other people who have recently subscribed to my channel, which by the way, thank you, because you know, you could have just been like, oh, this bitch hasn't posted for over a month, fuck her. So, you know, the very fact that you guys are supporting me, it means the world to me. So thank you guys so much. Know I will be here. Know that I will post more and a lot of content coming up real soon. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one.